In the heart of Bhubaneswar, a place they call India's City of Temples, there's one structure that stands above them all. It's more than just stone, it's the absolute pinnacle of an entire architectural tradition. We're talking about the Lingaraja Temple, the ultimate expression of Kalinga architecture. And today, we're going to dive into just how this masterpiece came to be. First off, just to give you a sense of scale, this thing is massive. It towers over the city, reaching a staggering 55 meters. That's about 180 feet into the sky. In a city packed with temples, this is, without a doubt, the biggest and the boldest of them all. But here's the thing. A building this complex, this important, doesn't just spring up overnight. Nope. It grew, it evolved, and it was perfected over hundreds of years. So the real question is, how did it go from a sacred spot on the ground to the architectural icon we see today? Well, let's get into it. To really understand this temple, you have to understand its style. You see, the Lingaraja Temple isn't just another example of Kalinga architecture. For architectural historians, this is it. This is the zenith, the absolute gold standard, the most complete and refined version of this entire style. And its story doesn't start with some grand master blueprint for the whole complex. It actually begins much, much earlier, with a simple, sacred idea. It all started on a piece of land that was considered holy long before that main tower ever began to reach for the clouds. All right, let's zoom in on the heart of the temple, that incredible main spire. This is where we see the birth of the iconic structure known as the Rekha Deal, and honestly, it's the key to understanding the whole genius of the place. Now, this timeline tells a really fascinating story. You can see there were some simpler shrines here way back in the 7th century, but the real game changer, that happens in the 11th century. Under the Somavamsi kings, bam, the main tower goes up. And this wasn't just another tower, it was a huge leap forward, perfecting what we now call the mature Kalinga style. So what in the world is a Rekha Dole? It's just a fancy architectural term for this kind of sanctuary tower. And its defining feature is that amazing curvilinear spire. Basically, instead of straight lines, it has these tall, graceful vertical curves that all sweep upwards to a single point. But it's not just for looks. Symbolically, it's meant to be the cosmic mountain, the center of the universe. This structure is the core, and everything else literally grew around it. So once they perfected the Rakadeo, the vision for the temple just got bigger. It wasn't enough to just have a sanctuary anymore. The goal was to create a fully functional center for worship and for the community. This is what led to what you could call the temple's four-part harmony. And here's how it all came together, piece by piece. First, you have the Rekha Dual, the main sanctum. Then, later dynasties added the Jagamohana, which is the assembly hall for everyone to gather. After that came the Natamandara, a special hall for sacred music and dance. And finally, they added the Bogamandapa, which was the hall where all the food offerings for the deity were prepared. And this is the crucial takeaway. Each new hall wasn't just about making the temple bigger, it was a functional evolution. The temple was literally transforming from a quiet, sacred space for a deity into a grand public stage for rituals, festivals, and the entire community's devotion. But the architecture? That's only half the story. The walls of this temple are absolutely covered in these intricate carvings that tell their own story. It's like a sermon carved in stone, just packed with meaning. So let's try to decode some of it. First, you gotta know who the temple is dedicated to. It's a deity named Harihara, which is this incredible composite form, literally half Shiva and half Vishnu. This is so cool because it visually represents a major trend of that time, bringing together two of Hinduism's biggest traditions, Shaivism and Vaishnavism, into one harmonious whole. The visual language all over the temple is just as clever. You'll see these powerful lion motifs everywhere, often shown trampling an elephant. That's a very direct symbol of royal power and of the victory of Dharma, or righteousness. You'll also see these famous Mithuna carvings of couples. Now, they might look sensual, but their real purpose is much deeper. They symbolize divine union, fertility, and the act of cosmic creation itself. And all of this brings us to what might be the most important point. The Lingaraja Temple isn't some dusty museum piece, not at all. It is a living, breathing center of faith, just as vital today as it was 1,000 years ago. Today, this temple is the spiritual heart of what's known as the Ekamruk Kshetra, which is this ancient pilgrimage route that winds through Bhubaneswar. For countless people, it is still an absolutely essential stop for worship and spiritual connection. And you can see this living legacy most clearly during the festival of Mahashivaratri. I mean, just picture it. Night falls, and the air just gets thick with this feeling of devotion, as thousands and thousands of little lamps are lit, and their flickering light just turns all that ancient gray stone into shimmering gold. The absolute climax of the whole festival is this one moment of pure spectacle and faith. A huge lamp, the Mahadeepa, is slowly, carefully hoisted all the way to the very top of that 55-meter spire. And as its light finally shines out over the city, it's the signal, it's the sign to the thousands and thousands of people waiting below that their day-long fast is over. It's this incredible, shared moment of release and devotion. So, it all leaves us with a final thought. What is it that makes a sacred space like this truly timeless? Is it the perfect architecture, the deep symbolism, or is it that unbroken chain of human faith that's lasted for a millennium? Maybe the real answer is that it's the magical way all three of those things are fused together.